Alrighty. Good morning. Happy Friday. Sorry about that. I am still figuring out. Oh my gosh. I am still figuring out this new streaming thing. Okay. And now I don't know how to. Oh, I see a good morning, Teresa. Okay. All right. Well, it must be working. All right. There's Teresa. Good morning. All right. Here we go. Valentina. All right. Good morning. All right. Good. Just want to make sure I know how to do that. Oh my gosh, guys. I am glad that you love me. Of course, I used to say that all the time to my first husband when I was like not perfect and like messed up and everything. I would always say, "I'm so glad that you still love me." And then, one day he didn't. So hopefully that doesn't happen with you guys. But oh my gosh. But the most important thing I wanted to talk to you guys, tell you, is the certificate has landed. Last week, I said that that we would have our certificate over the weekend. I hate being a person who overpromises and underdelivers. I just hate it so much. I always want to keep my word. But it didn't get live until, it went live last night, and then we did some testing this morning, but now it is officially live, and a ton of you got an email this morning with a link to your certificate. What is the certificate? I will show it to you in just a minute. That is the certificate for when you finish year one of the gym. Is anyone on the call? Did you guys get it? Did you look at it? Did you see it? Do you love it? Cindy says, yes, I got my certificate. Woohoo! Amy Lynn says, yes, you got it. Yay! Linda says she got it. She loves it. Yay! For those of you who don't know, I will show you what it looks like. We're going to do a little bit of a simpler exercise. We've been doing some hard stuff the last couple of weeks. We'll cycle through. We're doing a couple of easier ones the next couple of weeks. Then we're going to cycle back to another hard one. But I'm actually excited because I thought about doing the hard one today, and then I decided of a completely different way to do it. And so I'm going to save that. Hello, I am Margie Remmers-Davis, creator of the Fast and Easy Way to QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor certification. And this is our weekly live stream inside our free Facebook group called the QBO Gym Locker Room. The QBO Gym Locker Room is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. I'm thinking of renaming the group to Practice Makes Profit. Or QBO Practice Makes Profit, or QuickBooks Online Practice Makes Profit, because this is what we do. We are all about hands-on practice. We are all about not just reading about the QBO, watching videos, but actually doing it hands-on so that you can become familiar with it, because that's how you really learn. You can't drive a car just by reading a book, okay? You have to get in the driver's seat. You have to actually do it. And so we are all about getting that hands-on practice. As a member of the locker room, you have automatically a free Getting Started course. So we get our free Getting Started course. You get you learn how to get your free QBO account. That's your QBO accountant account. How to navigate it, what the terms are inside that we use, workflows, and of course hands-on exercises using the sample company. You'll also learn how to access the sample company. That's all in your free Getting Started course, which you get just for being a member of the locker room. And then you can also, once you have done that, you can also access, or, once you've gotten acclimated to QBO, you can use our free exercises. We have over 100 exercises. People are always asking me where to find them. And so inside the group, in the featured section right here, there is a post that is the welcome post that says over 100 free hands-on exercises. Okay, so you're going to click that link. Or click this, and then inside there's a link to the 100 free exercises, okay? Also, as a member of the group, you get a free exercise of the week, which you get when you participate in our weekly live streams, which is today what we're doing right now. All right, so we are going to dive in. Now, the exercise of the week comes from the purpose of the exercise of the week is it is to keep your Booksmatch profile active. So what do I mean by Booksmatch? When you are a member of the QBO Gym, the QBO Gym is a subscription product where it's like having your first client. So you get to work on a year's worth of books, and all sorts of things happen to Craig in his business. This is what it looks like to be in the QBO Gym. All of these things happen, and you have to actually do his books for an entire year. Joel will post a link here shortly that he likes to call it a flight simulator for bookkeeping. You actually get to be the bookkeeper. So it is like your first client. And all of the exercises that you do feed into your Booksmatch dashboard. So I'm just going to pull up somebody right here so you can see what it looks like. This person, Pawasha, I don't know if she's on the, she's on the live stream. So you can see how every time that you do an exercise, it feeds into verifying your skills, and then you can share this with others. If you make yours open to work, then we will actually share it with people who are looking for bookkeeping talent and want to know that the talent they are finding is already verified, that you already know how to do all of these things. So one of the metrics that we keep track of is your consistency, and recruiters specifically asked for this. They want to see that you are still actively engaged, that you're upskilling, that you're still actively looking for work. We had one recruiter who said that the biggest waste of her time is when she reaches out to somebody and they don't have any space or work available. So they want to know that you are consistently doing that. And that's why we have the exercise of the week, is because if you've totally completed everything in the gym, then you need to have something that's going to keep your consistency high. Now, I had a question here I'm going to pop through. Monica is asking, how long does it take on average to go through the first year of practicing in his books? Your speed is entirely up to you. I see Joel already answered. Each module, so let me go back to this. So each month, so this is a month's worth of content, takes about 3 to 4 hours. So each section takes 45 minutes to an hour. So each month takes 3 to 4 hours. So it takes about 42 real-time hours to work through the entire year. But most people don't do it that fast. Most people, it's intense. It is intense to do an entire year, even though you could technically do it in a week. Most people don't do that. So, but you spread it out however long you want. Okay. While I am here, I was just going to show you, I was going to show you the certificate. So let me just pull up the link here so you can see once you have finished the year, you get a certificate. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Whoa! Dun, 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 dun! Isn't that beautiful? Here, let me get a little smaller so you can see. Dun, 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 dun! So, yeah, so now, I don't know if anybody is going, use this for bragging or like whatever, but, we don't have any organizations that have their stamp of approval, they say like accepted by, whatever, this is brand new, but it always feels good to have a certificate. So now you have a certificate, everybody who has completed the entire year in the gym. Now, once you finished year one, that's not the end. There is still year two. Year two is a bit more challenging. But we typically don't go over year two on these live streams because most people aren't that far yet. So, okay, let's get into our exercise of the week. Now, Anthony says he printed it already. Woohoo! Okay, and he put it I have it printed already by my QBO certification. Yay! All right. So, here's the exercise of the week. Now, the exercise of the week is a separate course. So the QBO Gym is a paid subscription. And the exercise of the week automatically comes with that. Once you have gotten 250 points in the gym, then the exercise of the week is unlocked. It's a separate course. And and all of our courses are gamified, so as you go through the gym, you earn points, and 250 points unlocks the exercise of the week. You don't have to do the exercise of the week in order to keep your Booksmatch profile active. You just have to do an exercise. So if you're not finished with year one, do year one exercises, okay? If you have year two unlocked, do year two, okay? So the exercise of the week is specifically designed for people that have nothing else and they need those skill points to keep their Booksmatch profile active. But everyone loves them and everyone's like, oh, I want the exercise of the week. So that's why we unlocked it early. And then also you guys who come on the live stream, you guys get to do the exercise of the week for us and you get that link. Caroline, if I'm just now finishing up my QBO certifications, by the way, QBO certifications not related to that certificate that I just mentioned, okay? This person, Caroline, is asking about the QBO Pro Advisor certifications. If I'm just now finishing up my QBO certifications, should I get the recertification subscription or can I wait a bit? Okay. The answer is you can totally wait. Right now, you are in the current season. If you get your certification now, you're not going to have to recertify until 2025. So you can totally wait. You don't have to get it. The only thing is if you get it now, it's cheaper. That's the only thing. You say you're broke, but I don't know. If you get it right now, before we release it. So let me just talk about that real quick before I dive into the exercise. If you are, the recertification season is until June 30th. These are for people who got their QBO Pro Advisor certification before November 1st of 2023. They have to recertify basic and advanced. Payroll doesn't have a recertification. So if you got your certification, then now is the time to recertify. Intuit just dropped their recertification on Monday. And we are busy creating our matching materials. And so I'm I'm hoping sometime next week. Usually it takes us about 2 weeks to create it. So I'm thinking by next week, you'll have it in your hot little hands and you'll be able to recertify using our materials. From now until we release it, you can get it for $50. If you wait until we release it, it's $59. And what else about that? Yeah. Or you can go through the Intuit's free materials. I mean, whatever works for you. A ton of people have already gotten certified by going through Intuit's free materials. Most people are in the Fast and Easy QBO community because they don't learn well from Intuit's style of teaching. Okay, the content is the same. The style of teaching is the same. Intuit, it's more like just learning from a textbook. Those of us who are not very good readers, myself included, that's why our company exists. We learn better from videos, hearing it. I'm super auditory. And then also doing the hands-on stuff, like actually doing it hands-on. So that's why we create our matching materials that help for it's just a different learning style. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jonathan. Jonathan says, your teaching is so much better. Aw. All right. So, all right, let's go. All right, let's do some hands-on exercises. All this talking, it's 25 minutes after already, and we haven't even done anything. All right, so let's get back to our exercise of the week. This week, we are, so Carolyn says, I've noticed some of the other bookkeeping online courses are starting to copy your method. Well, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. But Caroline, I would love to know more about who that is. And so yeah, email us, support@fastandeasyqbo.com. I'd love to know more. Patricia is asking, does the QBO certification test change their questions each year? Yes, absolutely. Every year they change. Let me come back. I have a bigger speech about that. So let's do the exercise. I'll come back, remind me, and I'll come back and talk more to answer your question. Okay? All right. So the exercise of the week. Today we are talking about what can be a difficult, it's part of the basic certification, but it can be a tricky thing to wrap your head around, and certainly for business owners to wrap their head around. And that is recording a check. Okay, so when we're talking about checks, there's the first thing you have to decide in your mind, are you talking about a check that you are receiving, so somebody is paying you with a check, or is it a check that you are writing? Okay, so a check that you are writing to pay a vendor for something else. Okay, so that's what makes it confusing, is you have to think, okay, what kind of check are we talking about? Well, what we're talking about today, recording a check, is the kind of check that you write to a vendor, okay? Now, the thing that makes this challenging, the next thing that makes this challenging is that you, when you're writing a check, okay, or when you're recording a check, are you writing the check yourself and just recording it in QBO? Or are you wanting QBO to write the check for you? Okay. In other words, print the check. Okay. So we're going to talk about, both of those scenarios. Okay. And then this is kind of part one of a two-part thing, because next we're going to talk about, in a future episode, we're going to talk about paying a bill with a check, because that can create all sorts of problems. So, but first, let's just talk about recording a check. Now, you'll notice that our scenario here is centered and looks terrible. That That is because for some reason, Scribe, which is the software that we use to create these exercises, I don't know, they randomly decided to make this centered. I wrote to them about it and I said, this is terrible, change it. And they wrote back and they said, yes, we are aware of the problem, and we'll fix it as soon as we can. So I guess their dev team is trying to figure out why we're suddenly centered and what to do about it. So anyway, so for today, we're going to have this centered. Hopefully, this will get corrected. Okay, so so here's our scenario. Help your client Craig create a new check transaction. Here's what you need to know. The payee is Ellis Equipment Rental. You need to categorize the payment as equipment rental and note that it's for a digger. The check is for $200. The check number is 86. Okay, now this exercise is a Pro Advisor challenge. The Pro Advisor challenges are the exercises. I put them in quotes because they're not really, they're kind of like exercises that Intuit gives you inside your QBO account. So this actually comes from Intuit, and I'm going to show you how to get to it, okay? So in the left navigation bar, you're going to hover over Pro Advisor, then click Training. You're going to click the Training Library, and then the QuickBooks Online tab, which is probably already expanded. So let's take a look at what that means. So here I am in and I don't know why that's so tiny. There we go, it's a little better. Here I am in a QBO account. Again, QBO is accountant account. I can tell that I'm an accountant account because it says accountant up here at the top, because this left navigation bar is gray, otherwise it would be black, and because it's divided up into your practice and your books. Okay, so that's how I know I'm in a QBO account. Under the Your Practice section, it says Pro Advisor, and then you can go to Training. Then you have these different tabs, and my cursor doesn't like to follow me in here. But there's the Training Home, and then Training Library is where you'll find all of the training that Intuit has created, okay? So there's product training, and usually when you first go in, QBO or QuickBooks Online is the one that's expanded. They assume that that's what you want to do. But I'm going to close that just so you can see there's also QuickBooks Payments, Payroll, Time, and then there's other skills that are not related to the products, okay? Okay. So inside QuickBooks Online, let me go back to the exercise, which is right here, okay? So now QuickBooks Online, click on the Expenses and Vendors tile. One of the things I love about using Scribe is that I can edit it on the fly. And I can say, I don't know what that dash is, so let's get rid of it. All right, so we're going to click on the Expenses and Vendors tile. So you can see that they have tiles here for each of their kind of modules. So here we're going to go to Expenses and Vendors. And then here's the list of all of the lessons. If I click on this, you'll see that it's divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced skills. So the basic certification is, the basic certification is all the intermediate skills. So what this is considered a beginner skill. So this is actually not on the test, but you still need to know it. Okay, so here we're going to go to beginner skills, right here, and then we're going to go to entering expenses. Okay, so lesson 4. Oh, I know why that exercise, what that dash was. Oh no, the 4 was there. Entering expenses. Okay. All right, so entering expenses. Okay, and then if you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that it says Pro Advisor Challenge. Now, sometimes I can click this link and it'll go right to it. Today it's not. And there's reasons why you might not be able to go right to it. There might be a knowledge check that you have to pass before, or in this case, there's like a separate tab that you have to go to in order for you to get there. Okay, let's see if I can get to, there's also, so we had a double whammy in this one. We had a tab that we had to go through, and we have a knowledge check. When would a client use an expense transaction? When they're paying a vendor in installments before they make a purchase, when they're paying a vendor at a future date, after they've paid a vendor with cash. So this should be the answer. Okay. All right, so now it's past that. So now we have the Pro Advisor Challenge is unlocked. And then you can see the task is what we call our scenario. And then they have, theirs is a little bit different. And I just got distracted because my team member found something exciting that I wanted to share with you. And we couldn't find it earlier today. And now we found it. So I'm excited. Okay. So anyway, and then it tells you, so this is just what it looks like at the end. And then this is kind of like how you get to it. But we prefer our method of going through the exercise. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we have taken their content and we've just put it in our format so that it's easier to follow. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we have to load the sample company, which if you're in your QBOA account, you go to the gear icon and then click sample company. It will log you out of your QBOA account. So don't do this while you're taking the test, because it will log you out of the test. But if you're in our courses, we teach you how to get around that so that you can have both open and use them if necessary. I'm gonna take a drink of I've got orange dreamsicle shake going on this morning. Okay. All right, so now I'm inside my QBOA account. Now, so that's what all these are. Okay, so now we're going to get started with the exercise. As a reminder, here's the scenario. We're going to help Craig create a new check transaction. So remember, this is paying the vendor. Okay, so the payee or the vendor is Ellis Equipment Rental. You'll need to categorize the payment as equipment rental and note that it's for a digger. The check is for $200 and the check number is 86. Okay. So if you have the extension, the Scribe How extension loaded on your Chrome browser, which I do, it's this little red, I don't know if you can see it, it's super tiny. Then you'll have this button that says Guide Me. And the nice thing about this is you can actually look at the exercise and the sample company at the same time. So here I am now on the right-hand side. I think if I make it bigger, it only does the left. Yeah, I can't make this side bigger for you. Sorry. Hopefully it'll be okay. You should be doing it with me, so then you'll have the access. Joel has posted it in the exercise in the chat. Thank you, Joel. Okay, so now that I have them side by side, I can see that I need to click the plus new and select check. So I'm going to hit plus new and select check. Okay, now remember the first question that you have to, when you're talking about checks, are you talking about receiving a check for a payment, or are you talking about writing a check? Okay, so this is where business owners get confused. They're like, I have a check from, somebody sent me a check. So, and they see check in the list and they think, okay, I'm going to record this check that I received. No, this is for vendors. Notice it's in the vendors column. What's the correct thing? If you receive a check, which one of these things should I use? Which one of these things should I use? If I receive a check, I'm sure you guys are going to get it. Remember, there's a bit of a delay when I say something and when you guys hear it. There we go. Lindsay's got it. Receive payment. So if you're receiving a check, you're receiving payment. Okay, so in this case, what we're doing is we're writing a check. Okay, all right, Ellen's got it too. Oh, a bunch of you guys got it. Woohoo! Good job. Okay, so we are writing the check. Okay, all right, so here we go back in the instructions. In the payee field, select Ellis Equipment Rental. Ellis Equipment Rental. In the check number, type 86. Okay. On the first line in the category field, select Equipment Rental. Now, before I do that, I'm going to answer a question that newbies, oh, my head's in the way. Oh, can I? Yeah. All right. Oh, no. Well, let's see. I guess it's okay. Can you see this? Here, let me make it a little bit bigger, or a little, raise it. Oh, I guess I can't raise it up a little bit. All right, well, we'll see how it works. Okay, so this is a question. New people always get confused, so let me just talk, since this is a basic exercise that we're doing. Let me just talk for a minute about the difference between the category grid and the item details grid, okay? The category grid is when you are recording the expense specifically to an account in the chart of accounts. Okay, so this category, all of these items right here, these are all of our expense accounts listed in the chart of accounts. Okay, that's when you use the category grid. You're going to use the category when you don't need to track the specific items. Okay, the items detail grid is, okay, good. The items detail grid is when you need to track specific products and services. So here, what's listed here, if I click here, these are the products and services in the products and services list. Now, each of these products and services is also linked to an account in the chart of accounts. That's how you know when you buy it or you sell it, you know, what that amount was. That's how you run reports, and that's how you know. What you need to use the item details for is when you're buying a product that is an inventory product. QBO, and we talked last week actually about inventory. Last 2 weeks, I think we talked about inventory. When it's an inventory product and you are writing an expense, it's going to add the amount of that thing, the number of that thing to the quantity that we have on hand that it's tracking. Okay, so if I am, well, let's see, Craig is, one of the things he sells here is fountain pumps. Okay, so fountain pump is an inventory product. And if I say that I am, this is an expense, that means I'm buying this thing. So I'm buying 10 fountain pumps, then that means that whatever the current quantity is on hand, let's say there's 12, and I buy 10 now, then QBO is going to say, okay, now we have 12 on hand. Okay, so that's why you have the item details for expenses. Okay, so these are these are products. You don't have to have inventory products. You can also, if you just want to keep track of how much you've bought, but not the quantity. The quantity is when you have an inventory product. If it's a non-inventory product, it's not keeping track of the quantity, but you still want to keep track of the amount of money that you're spending on that thing. Okay, so in our scenario, what are we doing? This is an equipment rental. Okay, this is not an item that we're tracking. That's why we're using the category details grid and not the items detail grid. Okay, so equipment rental right here. Look, there's several equipment rentals. There's an expense equipment rental. There's an equipment rental that's a sub-account of probably job materials. There's a sub-account of something else. The exercise doesn't tell us exactly. So in the exercise, yeah, just equipment rental expense. I don't know why off the top of my head this other one isn't showing up, but there we go. Equipment rental, okay. In the description, we're going to type digger rental. Oops. And then for the amount, we're going to type $200. Now, before I close, I'm going to point out something that this exercise is missing. But before I do, I've been seeing some discussion on the chat. So Victoria is looking for the 100 free exercises. Victoria, are you on your phone or are you on a computer? If you are on your phone, you may have to hit the little hamburger icon in the upper left-hand corner. All right. Okay. So let me go back to, so here we're on the exercise. Now the exercise from Intuit, right here, the Intuit from exercise, Intuit just says, okay, we're just going to save and close. If you do that, what you're assuming is that you have written the check yourself. And so I wrote a check, 86, it was check number 86. And then you wrote a check, it was check number 86, and so you're just recording that you wrote a check for, that you wrote this check yourself, okay? That you're not wanting QBO to print the check, okay? So that's the piece that they're missing. They don't specify that. That's what they're saying here. So notice, though, that in this, here, you can have this. There is a print later. So you would print later if you have like a whole bunch of checks. You're like, okay, I'm going to do all of these checks, and I just want to run them all at later, okay? Run them all at the same time later. Or I can print the check right now, okay? So I'm going to deviate from the exercise real quick so that you can see what this looks like. I don't know why they left this out of this whole discussion out of the exercise. I know that when I first started using QBO, early 2020, so 4 years ago, at that time in life, like checks were dwindling. No one was using checks anymore. Like I didn't even get business checks for my, account because it wasn't a thing. But what I've noticed more and more is that more and more people, more and more vendors are charging fees if you use a card. So, which makes sense. I mean, if you accept cards, you know that you have to pay a fee, and that's just part of the price of doing business. But some business owners are now passing on that fee to their clients, so to their customers. And so more and more, I find myself writing actual checks because I don't want to pay that fee. So this, maybe that's what's happening. Maybe that's what's happening here. Now, so let's take a look at what QBO, because a long time ago, there was no ACH. And so, checks were all the rage. And so QBO has this ability. And certainly with desktop, I imagine. I never use desktop, but anyway, so I'm going to click print checks, print check right here. Now, if this is the first time that you have, and I'm going to close this so you can see it bigger. If this is the first time that you have ever printed a check, you have to do some setup here, okay? And you can select right here the kind of check you use. So you have a voucher, which has a check, so it's one check at a time, or it's standard so that there's 3 checks at a time. There's a link here to order checks from Intuit, okay? You can view and print a sample. And then you can right here make adjustments, okay? So can you see this? I know it's kind of light here, okay? So if everything's set up correctly, I can just say, yes, I'm finished with the setup, and it'll go on to the next thing, okay? If you say no, continue the setup, that'll go to the next tab here. Again, you can print it, see how it's going. If you can say no, you can adjust the alignment so you can make sure, can you see this? Make sure that it is printing in the right place, okay? All right, and then you can say finish setup, okay? Now it's gonna go back to, it should, I guess it didn't. Okay, it's supposed to go back to what you were working on, but it didn't. So that's only for the first time. So what you would do then is go back to plus new, select print checks right here. So these are all of the checks that have that have that marked as print later. Okay, this is the one we just set up. Okay, and let's see, can I open it up? Here's the one I just set up, and I didn't check print later. It automatically checked it because I selected this print later. Okay, going back to the exercise, remember it was just 86. Let me go back to the exercise here so we can see them both at the same time. Okay, this is where we were. Okay, so we typed in the amount 200 and we clicked save and close. I was just showing you this button right here, print check. This is if you want QBO to print your check, okay? You can also select print later and it will just add it to the list, okay? So for this exercise, I'm going to click save and close. And then the exercise wants us to see how this appears in the expenses center, okay? So we're going to go to the expenses. And then here is the check that we just created, okay? Now, let me go back to the questions. Okay, so there was some question. Apparently, Victoria found the 100 free exercises under announcements instead of under featured. I don't know why that would be, but anyway, I'm glad you found it. Okay. All right, so Patricia, hopefully I just answered this question. If we are just recording the check in QBO, do we then need to write an expense? Haha, good question. I'll cover that now real briefly, but then we're going to cover it again in kind of part 2 of this. And if we are not sending the check through QBO, then do we as business owners need to even record the check or just create an expense? Excellent question. So let me go back to QBO right here. Okay. So what we did was we hit the plus new button and hit check. Okay? And if we don't say print later, if we keep that off, okay, and we save it, okay, then it creates an expense transaction. So that's why we were looking at this right here. It says the type is check. It's in the expenses list. This is an expense transaction. We can also, as Patricia pointed out, just use an expense. So if we just create an expense, here, let me close out the exercise. If we just create an expense, let me do this exactly the same way. Ellis Equipment Rental. Look, it looks the same. And I can say, oops, make sure that's checking. If I put in the reference number as 86, I can say that I paid it with a check, and boom, same thing, same identical thing. So as you rightly pointed out, really you would only want to use that check transaction if you are printing the checks from QBO. If you are not printing the checks from QBO, you can do it either way. Okay? All right, excellent question. And we're going to actually, in part 2, we're going to talk about that more, in more detail, because you can really mess yourself up, or your business owners can mess themselves up. Let me put it that way, if you don't do it correctly. Okay. So Jonathan says, why isn't it showing up? Man, I do not understand why. There we go. Okay, Jonathan says, that's why I used to use the Paymaster for business change. Oh no, age alert. I guess so, because I don't know what Paymaster is. All right. That I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. Valentina says, I'm new to this group. How often are these trainings? They are weekly, every Friday at 11 a.m. Patricia says, if we recorded it both ways, would that have caused 2 separate expenses and mess up the books? Yes, it sure would have. And that's also what we're going to be talking about in part 2. Okay, so I mentioned that my team member pointed out, so we're going to give you, so I mentioned that my team member texted me during the thing because my team was furiously looking. I knew that I had a gym exercise, not exercise of the week, but actual gym exercise that walked you through all of that printing checks stuff. Okay. And we looked this morning. We couldn't find it. I wanted to go over it on the live stream. So while I was talking to you, my team found it. So I'm super excited. So we're going to give you this exercise. I'm not going to go through it today, but I'm going to give you this exercise. Yes. So Donna says the starting check number needs to be filled in every time you go to print checks. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to give you this exercise. I'm going to find it. So in the gym, so, and Teresa says she wants to start practicing in the QBO gym. Woohoo! Good. Get your workout in. Awesome. All right, so in the gym, in the February cardio section of the gym, okay, so this is February of year 1, cardio section, exercise 3, so this one right here, okay, it actually walks you through the check setup and the print checks screen, okay? So we're not going to walk you through this today, but for being on the live stream live, we're going to give it to you so that you can practice it on your own. You'll notice that it says start in the same session of the sample company. If you don't have the gym, don't worry about it. You can just do this exercise on your own. This particular exercise isn't related to this stuff. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you have it. Okay. And so anyway, and it goes into detail about everything we just talked about the printing part of it. Okay, now, once you have done, so now you have that, we're not going to go through it, okay? But I want to go back to the exercise of the week for a moment. Okay, so here's the exercise of the week. Make sure if you are a member of the gym and you want your Booksmatch credit, okay, you can't use the links from the chat. You have to use the links from inside the exercise of the week, okay? So you're going to click it, and then you're going to, once you've done it, then you click Upskilled, and then it will, through the magic, it will then update your Booksmatch record so that you can see it. It takes... we update it every 10 minutes, so you won't see it immediately, but if for you, this is a weird thing. I don't know why they did it this way. For you guys, it only updates every 10 minutes, but on the recruiter side, it refreshes if somebody opens up your profile, then it refreshes at that time. So if you do it, you're not going to see it either for 10 minutes, or if somebody else opens up your profile, then it refreshes at that time. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so, all right. So we are going to talk about the marketing prompt. So one of the things that you get as a member of the gym and being live on this call is a marketing prompt to help you talk about the exercise that you just learned. We created these because people were always saying, it's like, oh, I know that I'm supposed to be, posting on LinkedIn, but I don't know what to say. So we gave you examples of what to say. So Joel will put this in the chat for those of you who are not in the gym, or don't have the exercise of the week unlocked. But here is the marketing prompts. Okay, so you learned about recording a check. Here's a sample post. Hey, business owner, I never would have believed it, but writing checks is coming back into style. If you've started writing them again, do you know how to correctly record them in QuickBooks Online? Unfortunately, it's a bit tricky, but no worries. I can walk you through it. DM me. Okay, so that's a post that now we've had this conversation about how checks are a little bit tricky. Now you know, so you can post this. You can post it as is on LinkedIn or other social media. We have some people that go into Canva and turn it into an image. We have one person who plugs it into ChatGPT to write a whole article about it. You can do whatever you want, okay? But then people said, well, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't ever get responses. I don't know how to do social media. And we are not a marketing firm. We're not a marketing firm. We are never going to teach marketing at Fast and Easy QBO. That's just not who we are. That's not what we do. There are lots of people out there. In fact, if you go to www.fastandeasyqbo.com/resources, and I talked about this in the newsletter that went out this morning. In the resources list, there are programs out there that teach you marketing, okay? And you can look on that resources list and find other, help for other things. In fact, I just posted in there, Veronica Wasik has a course on Market Like an Extrovert, which is specifically designed for introverts, which many of us are, okay? And so you can look into that. But I do teach one method of, oh, that reminds me of something else I wanted to talk about today. of marketing, and that is this 3-2-1 method. So we're going to go over it briefly. I go over it every week so that everybody knows, everyone's reminded, and the newbies know what to do. Okay, so this is the only method that we at Fast and Easy QBO recommend for marketing yourself. This is not the only method. There are tons out there, but this is what we recommend. It is adapted from a strategy by Bold House. We have their permission to use it, and which is why you see it down there. Interesting that I just noticed it says adapted from the I don't know why that sentence is backward, but I will fix that in the future. For now, we're just going to talk about the method real quick. Okay, so first of all, your goal is 3 times per day. 3 times per day, you are going to directly reach out to specific people, whether that's an email, a text, a DM, a phone call, whatever, however you guys get hold of each other. You are reaching out to 3 specific people. You are not posting a flyer at the Chamber of Commerce. You're not sending an email to your entire list. You are reaching out to 3 individual people, okay? And those 3 individual people, what you're going to say is, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? Okay, so you are not selling yourselves. You're not selling yourself as a bookkeeper. You're just declaring, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And by the way, if you are not a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, get it done. Get it done. You can do it in a weekend. Our Fast and Easy course, easy peasy. You get your certification. Then you have that badge. You have that certificate. You can say, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Who do you know that I could connect with? You're not trying to sell your services to these people. What you're trying to do is grow your network. You're trying to find out who they know that is a small business owner using QuickBooks Online. That's all it is. Who do you know that is a QuickBooks Online, and I just want to connect with them. I'm not going to sell them my services. I just want them to know who I am, okay? So of that, you're going to do that 3 times per day. So you're going to have 15 people that you have reached out to every week. And of those 15 reach outs, your goal then is to have 2 times per week actually connect to potential clients. So they're going to recommend, oh yeah, so-and-so, I can make an introduction to so-and-so. Oh yeah, so-and-so owns their own business. I don't know if they're using QuickBooks Online, but hey, and they're going to make the introduction. You're still not selling your services, okay? All you're doing when you meet this person is you're saying, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. I'd love to stay connected in case you need any help. That's all it is. You're not saying, hey, can I be your bookkeeper? Can I, look at your books? You're not doing any of that. You're just saying, hey, in case you need help, I'm here. Okay, so you're just introducing yourself, and then you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn or your social media of choice, whatever the point is. You're going to connect with them in a space where, and LinkedIn, that's really that's where professionals live. And so you just want to connect with them. You want to make sure that your LinkedIn profile says that you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Do not say you're QBO Pro Advisor. Because nobody knows what QBO is, okay? You want to say you're a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. You want to make sure that's in your byline, because every time you post, you want to remind people that that's who you are. It's going to show up with your name every time that you post, and you're going to post a couple of times a week, and you can use the marketing prompts that we just showed you in the gym to just share a tip about QuickBooks Online. That's all it is. Don't expect people to be rushing to your door just because you posted that one thing. Hey, so now all these people that want to write checks are going to knock my door down and ask me. No, probably not. Probably nobody is going to. But what you're doing is you're planting a seed that is just reminding them over and over and over, you are a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, okay? So you're going to post a couple of tips yourself, and then you're going to go out and you're going to like and comment on other people's posts. And by having that byline, it's going to say, you're a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. And every time you like and post or like and comment on somebody else's post, again, they're going to be reminded. Now, when you're commenting on someone's post, your comment is not, hey, I'm a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor, let's chat. Like, oh, hey, do you want me to be your bookkeeper? Oh, hey, like, no. Just be a normal human being. Be a normal human being and say something like, oh, great tip, or what a great story, or wow, that really resonated with me. Be a normal human being interacting with normal human beings, okay? The entire point of this is for you to continue waving your flag so that people know who to turn to when they need when they need help, when they need a bookkeeper, when they need help with, QuickBooks Online that support can't answer for them, okay? So what you're doing is you want them to know, like, and trust you, okay? And as I always say, you know who the realtors are in your life, right? And how do you know that? Because they constantly say that they are realtors, right? Every time you go online, they are posting about the fact that they are realtors, okay? This is the same. You're just waving your flag so that people know who to turn to. Then through all of this activity, your goal, again, this is a minimum, is once per month to do a diagnostic review. If you don't know how to do a diagnostic review, we teach you how to do that in the cleanup course. But you don't have to get our cleanup course. There's all sorts of other online resources. There's other people that sell just the diagnostic review portion without the cleanup portion. Ours is included. It's all part of it because it all leads to, it's all in a package. But you can watch YouTube videos. You can learn from another guru on how to do a diagnostic review or a consultation or whatever. But your goal is from all of this activity and all of the people that you're connecting with, you can see who is liking your posts. You can see, like, if you develop some kind of a relationship with somebody, like by liking their posts or whatever, just keeping in touch, okay? And your goal is just to do this one diagnostic review per month. And you're going to land this simply by saying, hey, I am a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor. Would you like me to take a look at your books and see how you're doing? Okay, that's all it is. You're asking, hey, would you like help with this? Now, it's very possible that people are going to reach out to you and you're not going to have to do this. But yeah, maybe you just say, hey, would you like me to take a look at your books? Or if you were in our course, even better, you can say, hey, I just took a course on diagnostic reviews and I would love to practice. Do you mind if I hop in your books and I'll give you, it'll be free. I'll give you a report and, it'll be good for both of us, right? So that's all it is. It's easy peasy. It should not cause any anxiety or stress. Okay. So I'm going to hop on, back here. I'm going to check the chat, see if there are any questions. Oh, here it is. Patricia says, does the QBO certification test change their questions each year? Yes, they do. So the certification runs from November 1st, every year, November 1st to October 31st. Okay, so that is considered a season, okay, November 1st through October 31st. And in the beginning of November of every year, they change all of their training materials and they release a new test, okay? They release a new test with all of the new stuff. That's why, first of all, you can expect they're going to do that, right? Because it's software that they are, that's constantly changing. So when they want their pro advisors to be up on the latest, greatest thing. That's why they have recertification. So the recertification, excuse me, allows you, it keeps people up to breast on all of all of the new information. Here at Fast and Easy QBO, what happens every year is they release their material, just like what we're going through with Research. They release their new material. We shut down all of our courses, and then we re-release versions, updated versions to match the material that they want you to know on the test. Okay, so that's what happens with, thank you, Amy Lynn. Yes, I have a meeting at 12:30. So that's what happens with that. So last thing that I wanted to mention is Mindset Monday. So another benefit of being part of the locker room is that you have an opportunity to join us for every Monday at it's in the month of May, it's going to be at 2 p.m. Okay, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're doing a special Mindset Monday series. Okay, I've been doing Mindset Monday for a while now, I think since January. I always before would just kind of like hop on, but for May, for the month of May, I have decided to do a very special series. Okay, so and they are Mondays at 2 p.m. The first one last Monday had an assignment. So if you want to join us on this coming Monday, you need to watch that video and do the assignment, because this coming Monday, we're going to be building on that assignment. And we are going over a very special method. It's kind of like, it's like a goal achieving method. It's a very powerful way to turn your dreams into reality. I have personally witnessed so many miracles that have happened in people's lives because they use this method, and I wanted to share it with you. And I will try over the weekend to give you some, I got to dig up some of my testimonials, my stories from people. I developed this method in 2010. So it's been a while it's been a while, and so I have to go through and like dig up the stories of people. So Patricia is asking, where do we find last week's Monday's Mindset assignment? And that is in the group under events. Let me go back to the locker room here. Okay, so under events, this is the event that we're in now. This past event right here, Monday Mindset Special Series Part 1. That's where you're going to go and to get the assignment. Okay? And all right. And I think that's it. Thank you to those of you who commented on my hair. I just ordered a couple of different colors. So I don't know when they're going to get here, but we're going to try out a couple of different colors. This one is a little dark for me. I like dark, but the others are more, they're a lighter brown. So we'll see. Okay. Alrighty. I think that's it. I'm going to grab a bite to eat, I guess, before in the 12 minutes before my next meeting. You guys have a fantastic week. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention is next Friday, I am going to be gone. I'm going to be at a conference. It is called it is a conference for teachers of accounting at two-year colleges, or TACTIC. And so I'm going to be at this conference. So we're going to pre-record next week's live stream. It won't be live stream. It will be pre-recorded stream that we'll post on Friday. That means that it's going to be a different lesson. It's not going to be part 2 of today. Part 2 of today will be a week from today. I think that's the 24th, maybe. All right. So that's it. And that's it. Have a great weekend. I can't wait to hear your success story.